Okay, so now we are working on talking about social verification of social content, um, and that it needs to have a process. Okay, so here I'm going to skip through this, but this is basically unverified content and what you want to do. So there's two lines that you have to go down. So you have to verify not just the source, but you also have to verify the content. Okay, so there's steps in this process. So verifying the source, reviewing their social history, making contact, asking questions, getting permission to use, verifying the content. Anything that's not in English or in the language you translate that. Getting independent experts if needed, getting separate confirmation, and establishing context. So one thing that you can do first of all, like knowing this about time and date. Instagram and YouTube are based off of Pacific and Mountain Time. No, I'm sorry. Yes, it's based off of the times when they were created in. Twitter is based on your settings, and Twitter is based on your settings within Twitter. Facebook is set based on your settings on your device that you're using. So you have to know the difference. And so when something says a certain amount of time ago and you're looking at where it happened and then what time the tweet was, like knowing how the time zone is set can be important for verifying it, right? We had someone say something happened, actually had their Twitter settings set differently, thought that we had sent out a tweet much later than we should have or something, or much earlier, and it was because their settings were not to Central Time. There are tools for looking up images. So if you have an image, like looking for previous examples of it, if it happened before, like comparing it basically to what already exists. So searching an image on Google can tell you a lot. But as you're verifying the source, you want to think about these things, and I'll let you guys just read this on the PDF document that I'll upload as well. But you want to know that it's not just this Twitter account that was created out of nowhere and has never tweeted before and has no real history, right? You want to know that there was some lead up, that they tweeted about, hey, I'm so excited about going to the Dierks Bentley concert at the Mizzou Arena, and then pictures from the concert, and then, oh my gosh, there was a shooting here, or oh my gosh, this thing happened. So you could see that they were really there, then this thing happened that they're tweeting about now. So the lead up is important too, that you could tell that they were in that place at that time. Making contact. Remember that there's multiple ways to get in touch with them. It's not just a DM on Twitter or a message on Facebook. You can try multiple ways to reach them. Can you get a hold of them? The idea being that if you saw this tweet 5 minutes ago, that means they were on their phone, right? So that you should be able to reach them. Asking the questions, does the account match the content? Holes in the story? Does it feel feasible? When you need to secure permission to use. So once you verified the source, that's great. But then you move on to verifying the content. So anything that you want to match up captions and audio, looking for other clues when you're watching something or looking at a picture. Look at the expertise around you. We can seek separate confirmation if our reporters are out trying to confirm the story or talking to officials. If authorities are doing something, they can help confirm what you're seeing on social media. Is this content going to add context to what you already have? So you want to make sure what you are pulling and using as additional user-generated content actually adds to the context of the story. So if you reach the point that it is verified, you need a process for that, a workflow for that, One thing to know, and I think I skipped over this at the top of this section, is that if you establish that you are not chasing the right source, or that the content is fake, or not from the event you're chasing, then just stop. Like, it can't be half true here. Like, if you find one red flag that says this is not what I was looking for, don't waste your time continuing to chase that down, because it's not real, and or it doesn't pertain to what you need or what you're looking for. So move on and find something else. So don't waste your time getting stuck in this cycle here. I now realize I don't have the right thing pulled up. So I'm going to pull up this example, a couple of things just to highlight. If we were in class, then we'd go through these together, but I'm just going to look at them real quick. And of course, you can now see my notes. If you look at this, what's the clue here? So this, how would you verify this? A few things that kind of look a little off is these don't look like the standard symbols for Twitter. This is supposedly from 2017. It's been a heart for a long time on Twitter. You also want to go and look at the timeline of the Wichita Police, see if you can find this. So this is, there are lots of signs here that this is fake. And the one clue, there's actually a site called Prank Me Not that builds these and would be the clue. But the biggest thing is these icons here. This one, there's a site called Twitterino.com where you can also build fake tweets. So looking closely at what you've seen. Basically it takes something that exists, but if you look at things like the spaces and the quotes, that things are not, doesn't make sense for what the speaker would typically, it's off brand for Nancy Pelosi to talk about being disgusted with President Trump. That's a huge sign. Look for what's wrong with it, and then it's fake. This example was taken from a Veterans Association Facebook post during a DC blizzard in 2016. A lot of places used it. It actually ran, I believe, on the front page of a newspaper in Virginia, talking about how, guards at the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier continue even in blizzards. There's a lot of ways that we could search this, and if we had more time in class, then we would. But it ultimately, the clues are that the uniform's not the same as it is in present day. The person actually grabbed this. Anyway, I have my example here that goes through all this, but there's lots of ways to guess that it's not an original photo. No one paid attention to what it was from. Anyway, we've picked up, if you look into Tanai, then you can actually pinpoint timing and stuff. And it is actually from the 80s, so that's where this was not from 2016. It was from the 80s. The person posting it did not mean anything harmful by it. It just, she was sharing it, and then news organizations did not verify it. They just kept going with it. So the other thing is, this is a tweet that came out during the joint address to Congress. Would you use this tweet as reaction? What would you want to do to be able to do that? So you'd want to check the numbers, you'd want to check the source. What is this organization? What's their purpose? We can't just arbitrarily pick stuff to go in a reaction piece, but looking at this, you can figure out what makes sense and why they're using it here. There's a difference between jobless and unemployed. Anyway. This one, I think if you look closely enough, you can see the Photoshop job that is actually very terrible. But you see memes like this go around all the time, right? So you want to always warn, always use caution, always think about what works here, and that this really doesn't make sense. And if you look at like the way the lights are and the weird shadows and the stuff going on here, you can tell that this is not normal, right? So lots of things to be careful of. If, you know, we don't trust anything, we want to verify everything that we do, and don't just grab stuff because it's out there. Just because someone said it doesn't mean that it's usable by a news organization. So keep that in mind as you are doing your social searching, that we need to verify it, that we need to follow up. So it can help us in our reporting. It can add to our reporting. We can embed stuff. We can include stuff from our reporting. I mean, to include in our reporting, but it does not mean that we should do that without being careful of what we're looking for. I'm going to stop there.